Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see you all here. And such a lot of chat going on already. Fantastic. I wonder whether the technological side and the essence of the cosmic rays will enable this program to go ahead with no problems and no good morning, Poonam. And because we've had some sort of non-starters, haven't we, with this live stream on a Sunday where it just suddenly goes. Anyway, hello, lovely to see you. Jem's here. Great. You're feeling eclipse season coming on. Yes, September, not long. Sue NB, good to see you. How am I? Well, actually, I've had a productive day. I have done 3 videos, 2 astrobites, one for tomorrow, one for Tuesday, and I recorded the new moon, so that'll be up sometime this week. And hello, Christine. I've been reading all your messages, and really, and Andy, you've had a stressful week. I'm sorry about that. That's not good for you. You do not need stress. In fact, none of us need stress. And hello, what was going on Friday with that wonderful energy of Mercury sextiling Mars, because that was perfect energy to have a really reasonable and rational conversation between 2 world leaders. What happened? Basically, not a lot. In fact, well, now we know how to do it. Invade another country, kill everyone, and you get a red carpet. Wow, if only it were that easy. Now, what worries me about tomorrow, because as we know, the whole debacle is going to unfold again tomorrow in Washington, with all or quite a few of the world leaders present in Washington. Isn't that leaving the back door open in Europe? Just saying, just wondering who's in charge whilst they all whoop over to America. Just saying. So, hello, viewers from Ohio. Good to see you here. Laurie. Who else have we got? Deb Priya. We've got Andy and we've got Christine. It was never what it seemed. Yeah, I think Europe now realizes, and that, you know what? I'm cool with that. That's good. We'll manage. Thanks, but no thanks. You just get on fighting amongst yourselves over the big pond. And it's going to be, it is going to be interesting what happens tomorrow, because the interesting thing is that the energy, the astrological energy, is very similar tomorrow, which is why I've done another astrobite for it, as it was on Friday. Now, I think the danger is in everyone trying to be too kind, too nice, tread on eggshells, and try not to upset anyone, because Mars is in Libra, keeping harmony and balance and all of that stuff. And Mercury in Leo is every leader wanting to get his point across and say it how it is, but they're guests, so they're not going to be too over the top. Yes, I think you're right, Christine. The truth will out, and yes, I think the gloves are off. I mean, I have no doubt that in many, many households across the planet, there were people screaming at their television sets on Friday. Certainly I was. What I wasn't calling people, well, I can't repeat anything that I did call anyone, but what can I say? Hello, Simi, good to see you here. And I think we've got Cosmic BM as well. We've got Shirley, I think, has gone. She's coming back later. And we have a good selection of people here. And let's have a proper good evening. Good evening. And how was your week in general last week? Mine was okay. A few things. I tell you what feels as if is happening in the energy. And I think this is because we have this trine at the moment from Uranus at the 1st degree of Gemini is actually trining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And even though Pluto's at 2 degrees, our planet of transformation, Uranus at 1 degree of Gemini, there is something about this energy which is really raking those coals under our pot of boiling soup. And that soup is simmering to boiling. Now, I do think it's super interesting that, as I say, tomorrow we have the same energy as we had on Friday. In fact, that energy is really pretty ongoing all through the week. Yeah, I think that is a very good way to put it, Poonam. It was a little bit like a theatre. Does anyone know what time this is to occur tomorrow? If you do know, let me know in the chat. I'd be very interested to know, because I could set up a chart for that time, and for Washington. And what can I say? Do you go out? Do you actually go away for the day and leave the back door open, unlocked? I wouldn't, would you? Because actually that's what our European partners are doing. I don't know whether it's occurred to them. What concerns me is the UK does not have a particularly good leading ingredient to put in our soup. So we can't expect that much out of there, more placatory theirs and soothing the way. And then, of course, we have to say that we've got the various other leaders. And in some ways, I feel very concerned for the well-being of the president of Ukraine, because he must be absolutely bricking it, as they say, about going into this meeting tomorrow. I wonder, based on what happened last time, what he will wear. I hope he doesn't bow to this greater force of "you weren't even dressed right," and remains true to his word of "I will stay like this until Ukraine is free." And Simi, you've had a week from hell. Oh, coming off pain meds, getting ready for surgery in September. Yeah, side effects can be awful. I tell you what I keep getting, which I've had to go on another medication to help with, restless legs. You know, when you get into bed and they're just doing this and they're all kind of like, oh my God, it's horrible. Anyway, it's a bit better since, hi Liz the Eye Maiden, it's a little bit better since I went back on another medication. So it's like you have all this medication to treat one thing, and then you have to have another load of medication to treat the effects of the medication you were on in the first place. Yeah, healing vibes to see me, definitely. And yeah, well, you will be fine. I think that, September, what I'm actually going to do is there will be a live next Sunday, which is the 24th. And then the following Sunday, I won't do the live till Monday, because the Monday is September the 1st. So I'll do the week ahead and the month ahead in one video together. So let's see what you are saying. Christine, you're saying, watching the president of the US applaud the ice lollipop descend his aircraft was game over. Absolutely. I mean, there is no free speech. I think we're all aware of that. And actually, can I ask you, does anyone know what and I've just got to find it so I get the word right, but does anyone know what a DMCA strike alert is? Because I had this email from YouTube and it said, your video has been flagged for review. I don't know which video, it doesn't tell me, but I don't know whether they're complaining about the contents of my vegetable soup. And I've written to the help center and hope they will find out what can be done about it. Oh, somebody's answering me. Christine, go to a neurologist as you have nerve damage from COVID. Special vitamins. I never really got COVID, but I have got a lot of nerve damage from surgery. So it could be that. So yes, it's a copyright issue, but I don't know what, because none of the videos on any of the channels are showing, this has a copyright thing, because often they sort of stamp across it. But I don't know what it is, but we'll find out. Maybe they'll email me again or answer my question. But what's this? It's because you were being a badass. Yeah. I reckon so. I'm just giving away the ingredients of my wonderful secret recipe for vegetable soup. A lovely warming winter broth. And Anne Lipman, can't seem to find a time for the meeting Monday. No, it's not this Monday, darling. It's September the 1st. I haven't even set it up yet. So it's not till September the 1st, which is 2 weeks' time. And then I will do the live month ahead for September. So I was just getting ahead of myself, really. So don't worry about it. I'm not there yet. So what I want to say with the astrology is, I think we have really supportive, helpful, gentle. Hello, Penny Hudson. Got it, Anne? Great. So I think we've got really gentle, energizing, helpful energy this week. Now, how that will affect what's going on. You see, what worries me with the luncheon meeting tomorrow, where they're going to be served soup, is that everybody is a bit complacent and not wanting to upset their host, especially the person who should have been at the first meeting in the first place, if you get what I mean. So I think that it's going to be a bit tricky. It's going to be a bit tricky. But I've had a strange week. Strange in that, we've got an interesting new moon coming up, because I've recorded it this afternoon, and it's coming up next Saturday, the 23rd. It's in Virgo. You've had a strange week too, Ramona. Yeah, Liz, where has the year gone? I have no idea. I'm already thinking I must prep the individual sort of zodiac signs for 2026. And I think, good God, how did it get to that? Oh my God. So you're 3 as well, Liz. Okay. Low energy lately could have anything to do with planetary energy. Let me have a look. Well, it's quite laid back energy. And Mars in Libra isn't going to give us much get up and go. Mars in Libra is having us. I tell you what I did yesterday. Well, I can't tell you what I did yesterday because I did absolutely nothing. And at some point during the day where I had one of those days where I didn't even get dressed. I never unlocked the door. I didn't do anything. I just did the essentials, fed the cats, did the cat trays, had some lunch, had some dinner, watched telly. And at one point I thought, should I feel guilty about sitting here doing nothing? Nah, I think I need it. So I just sat and did nothing. But I've had a lot going on this week, which I'm actually for once not going to go into, which I've been processing. And at the end of all my processing, I realized that, I think, and this might be the same for many of you out there, we're in a time of clearing. And I think this is partly due to the retrograde energies of Saturn and Neptune, who next month Saturn goes back into Pisces. So we're really going to notice a shift in the energy. Uranus goes retrograde, I think it's next month, and will then go back into Taurus in November, I think it is. And of course, Pluto is actually going to go direct and start going forward through Aquarius. But I think we're going through a time of, think back to how you felt at the beginning of the year. because I think things that were going on then are coming back to be readdressed, re-looked at. And if there are certain points in your life or situations or people that you're realizing really don't serve you, that they're not on your team, then I think that it's about recognizing that you really are flogging a dead horse, and it's about letting go. There's a lot of the past that needs to be cut away, let go of. You know, Uranus in Gemini, remember, is conjunct Sedna. And Sedna had to do a lot of letting go to transform. And for all of us to change, to grow, to mature, to understand, say, the first few months of this year, what the lessons have been for us individually, we have to let go of an awful lot of things, an awful lot of rubbish. I just want to see what you're saying, because I don't want to miss Cosmic BL. As long as our orange man gets praised. Yep, that's right. Liz, you lay on the grass, listening to the breeze. Oh, fabulous. Bliss. Yeah. Christine, you believe that Orange Man is a bit deflated. I think so. He's now got a battle on his hands. I think you're probably right, Christine. I think that there's no coming back from Friday. No. I mean, he promised. He couldn't sustain that. And I think we all knew it was unlikely, but maybe we had a vague hope that he would. Tiffany, you've had a strange week, making progress with your patio decorating on Friday, but you got stung by a wasp on your neck and had a closet shelf fall. Oh my God. And then moments later, a hummingbird visited. Ooh. There's a lot of messages in there for you, aren't there? Really makes sense. Tiffany, you've got Mars squaring your natal moon in Capricorn. Okay, well, I think there's a clash here going on between trusting your intuition and the sort of practicalities of Capricorn saying, oh no, you're just imagining it, or don't see things that aren't there. And Mars squaring it is trying to help you is challenging you to get a balance, to really find the balance in the energy of what you're experiencing. Yeah, and I'm just, hi, Wishing Pool Tarot. A friendship isn't serving you after 25 years. I've had a little bit of that. Not 25 years worth, but I've had some situations where I've realized they are over, time to move on. Thank you very much for the lessons, and time to move on. So, yeah, I hope you're okay, Tiffany, as somebody is asking here. Yeah, so listen, guys. We've got this energy of Mars in Libra sextiling Mercury in Leo. We need to act decisively and strategically this week in our own lives. Be practical. Try not to get caught up in the rhetoric and the emotion of probably what will unfold tomorrow. And that might be at a personal level, but it will certainly be on the world stage where our vegetable soup is simmering away. I think it is in danger of boiling over, but I don't think it will tomorrow. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens come Saturday's new moon. That, I feel, is going to be the game changer. Now, we're going to see a lot of big talk tomorrow as they partake of the vegetable soup. we are going to see a lot of drama. We are going to see a certain person, let's just give him his initials, VZ, who will probably, in many ways, be a little bit out of his depth, which is not kind and not nice. And I think that also what doesn't help is that he's short. And I'm not criticizing that or saying anything about being short, but he's with these European guys and Americans who are big people. So they're big in personality and big in stature. And that is difficult for anyone to somehow manage. Oh, Christine, I've just seen what you said. What was going on in the Beast limousine? Everything changed after their journey. We'll never know what was said. No, we won't. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Big brain, big personality, and big energy. But I feel very protective towards VZ. I sort of feel, but we've got to let him go. We've got to let him go out there and show us that he can be the leader that he wants to be. What I hope, which is not what happened on Friday, because I wonder if the main part of the vegetable soup, the carrot, whether the carrot had done his history revising, because we need to understand what has happened historically with the Ukraine to really be able to get a handle on what's happening. Yeah, Christine, I agree. The world is on a brink. It really is. And I mean, it's going to be primetime television tomorrow, isn't it? If it's televised, which I have a feeling it will be. There may be some chats behind the scenes, but I think true cosmic BL, the smaller you are, often the more protective and aggressive. True. But it's how the other people in the soup behave towards him. You see, Mars in Libra will act with charm and use tact and try and be fair. So there is a sense that all of them are going to try and be fair. But in their efforts to be so polite, so fair to each other, they may not actually have the power and the fire to get down to the nitty-gritties. Christine, he can't. The orange one cannot do that. He's challenged. I think the orange one is going to be, oh, wow. Well, I think he got outplayed on Friday, which I think is what we expected. I think he got outplayed. And he's going to very much want to be heard tomorrow. And as I say, he's going to try and persuade VZ to give up a chunk of his country for peace. Now, we know what happens if that happens. If he does that, which VZ won't, I'd be very surprised if he did that. Well, Putin's just going to go back in a few years' time and do it all again. And then bit by bit, he eats into Europe, rebuilds his forces and eats a little bit more into Europe. Clearly, he wants to create the old Soviet Union. It's clear that's what he wants to do. Yeah, Christine, very good point. What has happened, what will happen, and what has happened to the children that got abducted? And I believe the carrot's wife wrote a letter to the icicle. So about the children. Yeah, and I'm just reading what you're saying. I'm getting so caught up in your chat that it's difficult. Oh yes, Simi, I agree about JDV. Let's hope so, because he can stir. This energy is good for diplomacy and public speaking, but maybe we need to look past what's happening tomorrow to what is going to be happening on Tuesday, because on Tuesday, the sun is making a trine to Chiron. Now, Chiron is the wound. Now, I think you could say VZ is carrying a huge traumatic wound from the invasion of his country. Huge wound. The sun that we can take as maybe a world leader or the world leaders, because the sun is about the leader. It's Leo. I think the sun is about a sense of healing is available. I tell you what I'd like to see, and maybe they'll listen to me. I'd like to see Europe standing up and saying, I stand with VZ. And each country gets up and says, I stand with VZ. And we will not let him give up any of his territory. Because if he does, we know what happens. It's so clear what will happen. Oh, I like that, Poonam. JDV, a bit of good. Yeah, nice one. Nice one. So this energy on Tuesday is good. So what I'm saying is the whole week has nice trines and sextiles. The only cosmic energy that may affect things hour by hour is the movement of the moon. Now, we've had a lot of void moons lately. Yesterday, the moon was void basically all day. It's not void at the moment, but it's been basically void all day yesterday. And we had a very long void of course moon last week as well. And pretty much nothing much happens when we have a void moon. Hello, Parry. Good to see you. We've missed you. Good to see you here. So I'm going to move on actually to the new moon, because it is actually an important new moon on the 23rd, because it's at 0 degrees of Virgo. Now, this is Saturday. This is going to be, what's that, 5-6 days after the meeting that takes place tomorrow. So is this good energy? Is it good from the point of view of the moon to be having this meeting as the moon is waning? Well, I suppose it's how we look at it, because a waning moon means to get rid of. So what can they get rid of? What can they take off their plate to somehow get some substance, get some meat into this vegetable soup? The new moon at 0 degrees says what unfolds this week is going to have a profound effect on what gets agreed on Friday, Saturday, that affects the next month or so, till the eclipse. That is what's going to happen in the short term. I don't know what it's going to happen in the long term. I think we have to look at other energies for that. But this new moon is squared by Uranus in Gemini. There is something here about someone has a trick up their sleeve. They have a secret. Something is going to come out that we didn't see coming. Something happens that we didn't see coming. Mr. Z has to stand his ground, and it will be no compromise from now on. Whatever that may be, no way can they agree to give up their sovereignty. Absolutely. I think, the world, absolutely, Cosmic BL, has to continue to support Ukraine. Otherwise, he'll not stop and Taiwan will be next. Yeah. And you don't give murderers a red carpet. I think that we're all agreed on that. That it's made the soup unpalatable. There is no way we can digest what is in the soup. So this new moon is going to have some twists and turns and unexpected shocks. But we also have really positive energy around it. Because, well, the only aspect the new moon is making is to Uranus. That's saying it's in Gemini. Technology, we might see we might see some, let me see, internet interference. We might see some cyber attacks around then. Because, of course, that is another technique that can be used in war, in disagreements. And Uranus is trining Pluto. So we hold that energy in our mind. We've got that trine to Pluto. Pluto is still really urging us all to transform and through Uranus, wake up. There is something here about the people rebelling, the people saying, not in my name. It reminds me of the Me Too movement. And whatever might get agreed this week, I wonder whether there's going to be such a surge of energy from the people everywhere saying, not in my name. No, you can't do this. You cannot stand up and do this. You're going to have to read in between my lines because I'm trying to be very careful about what I say. Bye, Liz the Iron Maiden. Oh, going out to dinner, enjoy. Okay, have a lovely time. Secrets need to be exposed, Parry is saying. Cruelties and evil are not acceptable in our world. Enough of the constant craziness, aggressive behavior and hostilities. I agree. Canada is open for business. Thank you, Simi. Yes, Wishing Pool Tarot, why is there so much injustice? And you're right, Cosmic BL, Europe needs Russian gas. We're going to have to find another way, aren't we? We are going to have to find another way because we can't rely on, I think, as much as, let's face it, ideally what we want is a collective world, a world where we don't have boundaries, where everyone is your neighbor, everyone can be a friend, where there may be little disputes, but we honor everyone's personal boundaries, but we have a borderless, a boundary-less planet. Because surely, let's remember we've got this unidentified flying object hurtling towards Earth as we speak. And all the rumors and the stuff going around on the internet that it may be an alien ship coming here. Well, let's pray to God it's not, because I think they'd come here and sort us out. Because if there is an alien ship on its way to planet Earth, then we need to be a collective humanity. And, we have to really think about what this all means. Christine, while the orange one was boarding Air Force One, Ice Lollipop was attacking Eastern Europe. Yes, exactly. There's such a, it's so duplicitous. With one breath, you're saying, let's talk, let's find a way for peace. But he said, the only way you can have peace is I want this, and this. And definitely no NATO. Well, that's all very well, But listen, it can't happen. If it does, what we are setting ourselves up for is World War III. I would actually say that is what we'd be setting ourselves up for. Yeah, people seeking peace seem to be the aliens, absolutely. And, maybe if it is alien contact, they're coming just in the nick of time to say, hey guys, cool it. Stop killing each other. Let's exchange information and technology. Let us teach you, show you how you can live harmoniously as one humankind. But I'm a bit utopian. I'm imagining this wonderful utopian world where everything is lovely and there are lovely unicorns prancing around the fields, and that probably doesn't happen. So what else can I say about the energy this week? Because there's something here, and I wonder whether there has been a degree of, oh gosh, I think what I want to say, has there been a degree of gaslighting coming from the orange head to VZ? So that there's that it's like trying to erode the truth of history. And because this is, I believe, and I may be wrong, what sometimes people in power try to do. They try to rewrite history to suit their rhetoric or to suit what they want now. I'm just seeing what Simi has said, and you hate to say it, but the only way to have peace is to remove the a-hole players. Yeah. And you see, ultimately, this was what Pluto in Capricorn was trying to do. And of course, with Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter moving through Capricorn as they did back in 2020, and then into Aquarius, there has been this constant energy coming from the cosmos to get us to up our game and to tear down the old structures and to change the way that we view the world and each other. Christine, you're writing down betrayal, yeah. And truth and authenticity seem to be rare commodities. And I think maybe if we all manage to do that individually, maybe then we can actually help the collective unconscious to move with that sense of truth, because that's what we have to have. We're about to witness the ultimate betrayal, I think is probably what you're trying to say. What's this? Investigation of the North Machine for the well-being of our electrical energy that is a non-polluting and freely produced by a gyroscope in a circular magnet that makes the energies. Interesting, Parry. And of course, we know that all these big companies don't want to have a power system or an energy system that is infinite, that doesn't need fuel to run on. Because, Tesla, as you know, was supposed to be pretty much every step ahead of all of this. And his inventions have been, well, taken away from us. And I think that there was something interesting I read. I'm sure some of you will have seen it because it's been doing the rounds on social media about, they don't want to lose their control. That's absolutely right, Poonam. They, CERN in Switzerland, where they have the Large Hadron Collider, where they are crashing particles together to try and create the Big Bang. And they managed to do this, I think it was in 2012, and they found what they called the God particle, which they called the Higgs boson, which is supposed to be the kind of, well, exactly what it says. It's the God particle, the divine intelligence as a particle, and from that springs everything else. Now, there's this thing that's going around saying that CERN said, hi, Russian die-earthling, that CERN have apologized to us all for ending the world at that point. Because according to them, or according to the story that's going around, however true it is, according to them, the world ended and we got shoved onto an alternate timeline. So we are all living in a kind of dystopian universe where all these bonkers, crazy things are happening, which if we'd stayed on the real timeline would not have unfolded. And I have to say, and someone had made this comment on this story that I was reading, whatever, I don't know. I'm just putting it out there for all of us to have a look about. But, we have to sort of think, well, certainly the things that have gone on over the last few years are completely bonkers. And you've been there as a teacher, right? Ending the existence of generational animosities and prejudices that we have accepted as normal ways of living. Parry. Cosmic BL, you have airline employees striking and refusing to obey the government's order to return to work. Interesting. Yes, absolutely. Jimi Hendrix, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Well, that's true. Which leads me neatly on to my word for the week, or words for the week, because this week, based on some things that have been going on for me on a personal level, I was looking up all about Stoicism, because it's not a way of thinking that I have particularly learnt about or been introduced to, but my goodness, it makes sense. And it makes sense for a lot of the things that are happening on the planet at the moment. And it will make sense, I think, for all of you with the various things you find going on in your own life. So these are a selection of quotes that capture the benefits of Stoicism. And what they do is they emphasize resilience, wisdom, inner peace, freedom, and freedom from being ruled by external events. And I'm going to add to that, or people, or the news. Seneca said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And isn't that a truth? What our mind creates. God, my South London accent came out then. What my mind thinks. What my mind tends to think, there I'm back into my King's Standard English, is we do what we think, what our imagination creates. And remember, we've got Saturn conjunct Neptune at the moment. Now let's remind ourselves that when Saturn and Neptune were last conjunct in 1989, the Berlin Wall came down. Are they rebuilding it because we mustn't let Russia in the back door? Just saying, just a thought. Epictetus, oh dear God, these names. Epictetus said, man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. So we're not worried by real problems so much as by the imagined anxieties about real problems. And Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Epictetus said again, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So you see, if someone is gaslighting you, so let's take tomorrow. If VZ, when he goes to this meeting, finds himself being gaslit again by the carrot or by JV, we'll call him, he has to remember that it is not what happens to you, but how he reacts to it that matters. Epictetus also said, "He who laughs at himself never runs out of things to laugh at." And Epictetus again said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." And Seneca said, "To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden." And Epictetus also said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And finally, Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." And this is what VZ needs to remember tomorrow at this meeting. He needs to remember to get out of his own way, to not take things personally, to not personalize what gets said to him, to just let it flow over him, to just listen and take it in and bat it away and stay within his statesmanship guise, to be the statesman he is turning out to become, that he has been birthed into, with all the gossip, or the rhetoric, or the criticisms. We can only go what we feel individually about these various players. But, Seneca said also, the man who does wrong harms himself. The man who suffers wrong does not. And that reminds us that the gaslighter's deception corrodes them, not your essence, which I think is really important. And I think they are very important. There's a lot of videos that I came across this week on YouTube, just all about Stoicism. And, there's just sort of, it's just little bites, a bit like my Astro Bites that get longer and longer every day, but just little bites that you really think, wow, yeah, oh my goodness, that's what I've been on the receiving end of, for example. And how to not take things personally. How to actually be in our truth, in our authenticity is so important. They'd better hurry to stop him or the country will implode. I think I've lost the thread of your talk there. Wishing Pool Tarot. Yes, what card have you got? You've pulled the card for the week. Page of Cups. Small gestures being made. Maybe an apology. But nothing of any real substance. I like that interpretation, Wishing Pool Tarot. I do like that. I think that is... It could be that there is, but that could also be, it's a bit like taunting or teasing a wounded animal. You get it to trust you and then you slap it again. And I wonder, Wishing Pool Tarot, if that card is kind of implying the naivety of the injured party. And we think, oh, they really are going to help me. And then, nah, only joking. And so there can sometimes be that kind of energy. The whole world, yes. Yes, see me. Right, I'm going to do a card for the week. Actually, I'm going to do two cards. I'm going to do a card for the meeting tomorrow. So send all your energies into the cards, because this is a card for the meeting tomorrow. Let's see what we get. So we're going to have that top card. Oh, stalemate. Stalemate, I would say. Four of Swords. Oh, gosh. It's going to be a little bit like, it's almost like they're at the wake of a funeral. I don't know. I wonder if this represents the number of world leaders or European leaders that will be there apart from VZ. Whether that actually, you've got the Queen of Swords and the Fool. Similar, isn't it? Similar sort of energy. But I wonder, there we have it. Yeah. I wonder whether there'll be four of the main world. I know Starmer is going from the UK. I would imagine Macron, and I don't know who else is going. Probably the German chancellor, the German chancellor, I would imagine. And Wave, you've got Four of Swords. Oh no, I've got Four of Swords. Yes, I've got Four of Swords. So I think it won't. I think it'll be a little bit inconclusive. Yes, someone will be wounded tomorrow, but I don't think it'll. I think it'll be VZ. And oh yes, that's right. What's her name? Van der Leyen. Yeah, she'll be there, won't she? Yeah. Now I'm going to do a card for the rest of the week. Oh no. Oh dear. This is not boding well for this week. I've got two cards. In spite of the astrology, which is kind of like skipping through the buttercups and the poppies, we now have, oh dear. But maybe it's got to get worse before it gets better. At least it's a progression of 9 to 10. And if you can hear scratching, it's my cat scratching because they're saying, feed me, it's time to eat. And I know they're terrible cards. You've got simplicity, positive efforts, kindness. You pulled the Earthling, simplicity. I know, Christine. Oh my God, absolutely. Wishing Pool Tarot, stress, nightmares, and total defeat. I know it's horrible, isn't it? I don't know what to say. Shall I pull another card and let's see if it actually gets better by the new moon? Let's just see if it gets better by next Saturday, because it sounds like it could be a little bit of a challenging week. But you know, the problem is, and sometimes I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the astrological energy really is quite supportive. And maybe that's the problem. There's not enough challenges in it so that, you know, all right, let's have one more card. Right, it's this one. Oh, that's better. New moon, new beginnings, the Magician. By the end of the week, maybe we will start to see some results from what has... Oh, that's an interesting take on it, Simi. You think those cards are meant for Mr. Icicle? No, Christine, I know how to start our day tomorrow. Dare not leave my home. Oh my God. What was the second card? So the second card, we had the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords. But I mean, actually, remember, both those cards are about the end of the darkness, the beginning of the light. There, you know, the Nine of Swords shows the swords not actually touching the weeping woman or the weeping figure. So there is a sense that all our worst fears are put on the table. And the Ten of Swords is like, oh, is it going to happen? Is it happened? Has it happened? And then we pop our head above the parapet and is it safe to come out? And then the Magician is saying, hey, I've got the answer. I've done the work. Yes, Christine, the truth will out. Wishing Pool Tarot, you think the energies have been very difficult. So much unrest there in the UK. I know. I tell you, Wishing Pool Tarot, it's really made me think about returning to the UK. Because I'm hearing such terrible things, and yet I want to go back. But, and I feel, and also from my astrocartography, My astrocartography is much better for me if I go back or if I return, relocate to Southeast England than it is if I stay here. So maybe I just have to hope that we can all weather the storm together. So I will go back to England. Parry, nations are finally dropping food and water in Gaza. You see, isn't it interesting how, that all went quiet last week? It's like, okay, news channel, what should we talk about this week? Oh, let's give Ukraine center stage. And then next week, let's give Gaza center stage. It all seems so orchestrated. Or is it just me? And then have you noticed how at the weekend, it all just ticks over and not really much happens? Russian Die Earthling, you're in the UK, not having problems where I am, but trouble with bin collections. What about the cost of living? I'm seeing such awful things on the news about the cost of living. Is it really as bad as they're saying? And people having to go to food banks. Cosmic BL, your second card is the seagull. Friendship, project, sharing, hope, collectivity. You see, thank goodness we have this community. Thank goodness. Yes, Wishing Pool Tarot. So it is expensive. Oh, gosh, it's a lot to think about. Poonam, we see it all too, Penny. Very controlled delivery of news. Yes. And it's so difficult, isn't it, to know where to go for our authentic news information. And, because even on platforms like this, you're monitored. You have to be mindful. We have to talk about vegetable soup and harvesting the vegetables and, sorting out the wheat from the chaff and making a nice big bonfire and getting rid of the rubbish. So curated news, that's a good way to put it. So listen, guys, what can I say? You brought loo roll and it had seagulls embossed on it. Do you know, I miss seagulls. We don't seem to get them down here. Maybe they're a Northern European bird. I'm not sure. I shall have to do my Googling on that, but I miss seagulls. I know they're pests and some people absolutely hate them, but I really miss seagulls. And of course, if I'm living not far from the coast in England, I'll see seagulls again, which will be so exciting. Yeah, let's pray for the UK. Plenty in Birmingham. Good God, seagulls? They're a little bit too inland, or do they know something we don't? Is there going to be some water kind of reaching into Birmingham, So shall we bring this to a close for tonight? Listen, you've got them in Cyprus. I wonder why we don't have them they probably shoot them all here. I didn't say anything. No, they hunt here. Fish markets. Fish markets. Yes. Listen, have a great week, everybody. I don't know, I might put something up midweek. I've got an Astrobite coming out tomorrow, which is looking at the energy specifically for tomorrow, Monday. And then I've got another one for Tuesday. So they're programmed to show up tomorrow and Tuesday. And then we'll see how the week goes and whether I put anything else up. But I will be back, all being well, next Sunday. And what else we got here? You asked if Ukraine will get the ceasefire. You've got the Lovers. Okay. That could be cool. That would be a start, wouldn't it? I guess that would be a compromise for now if we got a ceasefire, wouldn't it? So I guess we have to intend the best and keep our expectations realistic. Is that perhaps the best way to proceed? Yes, please. Thank you, Cosmic BL. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. For some reason, all my stats are going down at the moment, and I don't know whether it's that it's summer and a lot of people are away or they change their habits. They don't watch videos so often at this time of year. I don't know, but it's just the stats are going down. The views are down, subscribers are down. So I know I've got you wonderful core soul fam. But let's see if we can expand the community a bit so that more people could come and join our crazy hour on a Sunday. And remember to like and subscribe then, and share. And the like is very important because apparently it pushes you up in the algorithm, as does the subscribe button. And remember, with YouTube, you don't have to pay to subscribe. Once you're actually on the app, you just click subscribe. Because a lot of people have said to me, oh, don't I have to pay to join your channel? And I go, no, you just click subscribe. So I think sometimes it's people are frightened of clicking on anything because of what it may commit them to. Yes, loads of love to you, See Me, and everybody. And Shirley, hello from Texas. Good to see you. And they've changed something with the stats. You have to like, share, comment. That's what's happened, is it, Wishing Pool Tarot? Thank you. So if you could all help me by liking, share on Facebook, things like that, because that really helps. It just gets me out there a bit more. And that'd be awfully helpful. I'd be super grateful. So thank you in advance for that. Wishing you all a great week. Poonam, see you tomorrow. If you're on an iPad, I think you have to download the Teams app. Doesn't cost you anything, just download it and I call you through that. If you're on your laptop, you should be okay. You just go in through the browser. And that's for anyone who's having, can't keep track of your subscriptions. I know, Russian Die Earthling, it's terrible. You've got to, anyone that is having a session with me, I use Teams now, and if you join through your desktop or a laptop and you haven't got Teams, you don't have to download it. You can join through the browser. But if you go on one of these or one of these, you have to download the Teams app. Otherwise, it just doesn't seem to work. So I think it's all to do with confidentiality. It just makes it so difficult. You know what I'm doing? I'm wittering. I'm wittering. I'll see you tomorrow, Poonam. And anybody else who's booked with me, I will see you very soon. And, do you know, it's been lovely talking to you. You are all a breath of fresh air for me. And, well, let's see what happens tomorrow. Let's pray for the best and keep our expectations realistic. So I'm wishing you a lovely rest of the day, afternoon, evening, and I will see you all very soon. Bye for now, guys. Bye. Bye.